What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another knife review for you today. This is the Benchmade Bugout model 535. It's a new knife for this year in the Benchmade family. And I haven't made a video for a while, but I thought I would come back with a review of this knife because I thought it was interesting and I wanted to share my viewpoints of it. I've had this knife a little over a month and I've been carrying it EDC every day, so I think that gives me enough time to be able to give my honest opinion on it and just share some of my thoughts about it. So this is kind of an interesting knife to me because it's such a extremely lightweight knife, and usually when you think of Benchmade, a lot of their knives such as the Griptilians and the mini Griptilians and other similar models, the Barrage family, they're a lot heavier. Now they're still fairly lightweight, a lot of them, but compared to this one, they're nothing close to how thin it is. Now Benchmade has been marketing this knife, it seems, to the backpacking community or to the just the outdoor community in general. Anyone that needs a very lightweight knife and they want something slimline that's still really capable. So when I saw this knife, I thought, man, that's really cool. That looks like it'd be a great EDC knife. It's got a deep carry pocket clip. It carries extremely deep. Like I said, it's extremely thin. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. I think I would like to carry that knife. The size of it is kind of a mid-size knife. The blade, I believe, is 3.25 inches or thereabouts. So you got a good long cutting edge in the drop point S30V blade, CPM S30V. And I believe it's 58 to 60 on the Rockwell hardness scale. So edge retention is going to be pretty good. Most of you know kind of the deal with S30V. It's very corrosion resistant, so it's not gonna rust out as easily as some other steels, which is good for an outdoor knife because you're gonna be in some situations where there's moisture. So I thought it would be a cool knife to pick up, and it really does fit my hand very well. One thing I liked about the size of it is handle-wise, it's very comfortable, similar in size as I would say to the Delica, although I don't have one right now to compare to. But I typically wear large size gloves, and I'll go ahead and roll in a couple pictures of me holding it in the hand. But you can kind of see it fills my hand. There's enough to grip onto where the bottom of the blade by the lanyard hole there, I still have enough to grip onto, get a full 4-finger grip. Like I said, I wear large size gloves. So it's a really comfortable knife to use, and I've been using it as EDC, just basic cutting task, cutting open cardboard boxes, cutting through some hoses that I was replacing on my truck, replacing some of the coolant lines, just things like that, basic EDC needs, and it's been serving me really well. Now, I did want to test it out a little bit just to kind of give you guys an idea, because when I got this knife, I thought it was so lightweight that it might not be able to be used in, I won't say hard use fashion, but there are some tasks that you might consider hard use. So I just thought I would go ahead and test it a little bit to the limits. Now, I didn't test it to where the knife failed, but one thing I've seen in several reviewers that have talked about this knife or showed this knife on their YouTube channel is how this knife is just, the handles are, they call them grivery. So basically it's, what I understand is a glass reinforced nylon, but there's no steel liners inside of this. There's a waffle pattern inside of the knife that kind of gives it a little bit of strength, but it's an open pillar design. So you got a pillar there, you've got the access lock. It's a manual opening folder, and you have another pillar right here on the bottom. Now these pillars are blue, so it's kind of a nice touch. Thumb studs are also blue. But as I was saying, the knife kind of has some flex. It has some give. You see if I squeeze the handles here, you see it has some flex. But that kind of caught me off guard when I first got the knife. I was thinking, well, maybe it's not durable enough to handle some harder use cut tasks. But it still has the access lock, and it has a cartridge liner that comes down, I believe, to about right there. So it comes down in here, and then it comes down to this this screw here, and then goes back up from what I've seen. So basically, the limit of the strength of this knife is in this glass reinforced nylon. So basically, I just wanted to kind of use the knife and see, just test it out and test it to its limits a little bit. This one the blade centering was perfect on this one. But sometimes if you bend it a little bit, like say if I bend it like this, and then you look at it, it might not be perfectly center, but you can easily just bend it back, bend the handle a little bit back, and it goes right back to center. So I did hear that some people had some issues with theirs of blade centering, but mine was perfect. Deploys extremely fast, like most access knives that have the access lock do. You can deploy it with the thumb studs. You can reverse deploy it like you would with a Spyderco that has a large opening hole. You can just pull the access lock and the blade swings freely. So if you just want to open it up, you just pull the lock, open it like that, close it like that. Really easy to do. It's a really fun knife to play with, open and close. It's really fun. I guess you could call it a fondling knife. Like, this is what I do the majority of the time that I have it in my pocket and I'm bored, is you can just flick it open non-stop basically. So I did do some testing with the knife. So believe it or not, I cut open a can of some I believe it was vegetable beef stew. I know that's not something you would usually do with a knife, but the way they call this knife the Bugout model, I thought, well, you know, if you had a bug out somewhere, you might just have a can of soup. You know, I know this isn't necessarily a bug out knife, but that's what they call it. So let's say you had to throw this in your pack, you might need to open up a can. So I opened one up, and I don't recommend that you guys do this, but you will probably damage your edge, which I may have on this one a little bit, but I've resharpened it, touched it up with a Spyderco Sharp Maker, and it did pretty well after that. So I did that. I did some food prep with it, and then I wanted to test it on a piece of wood. I did it, I believe, a 1x4. I think it's just pine. But basically, I did some splitting of the wood with a dead blow hammer. So I think that either mechanics are going to be cringing that I'm hitting this knife with a perfectly good dead blow hammer, or knife addicts are going to be cringing that I'm smacking on the knife with the dead blow hammer through wood, batoning. So, you know, I think it did pretty well. I'll go ahead and roll in some footage of doing that. I didn't have any problems with lockup. It is still rock solid. No blade play side to side, other than what you would normally get with an access lock. And there's no blade play at all, front to back. So didn't do any damage to the lock. It held up really well. I also did some stabbing on the tip. I wanted to see how delicate the tip was, see if stabbing into the wood and moving the blade side to side like this, just to kind of test a little bit how durable the tip is. And it didn't break at all. It didn't chip. The tip was very durable. It withstood that test very well. And also, going front to back, there were no lockup issues at all. So I was really impressed with this knife. And basically, this is a more, I wouldn't say expensive knife, but for what I was getting, I kind of felt like, you know, because I paid up around 115 bucks for this knife. And I thought, well, it's such a lightweight knife at under 2 ounces, I believe it's 1.85 ounces, that you kind of feel like, okay, what am I paying for? Because it's just a cartridge liner. So the liner's there basically just for the locking mechanism. So all it is are these scales, the S30V blade, which is a nice blade, and it cuts really well. But I kind of just felt like, okay, you know, if I'm paying $115 for this, I can almost get the same knife minus S30V blade with a little K-bar Dozier knife, you know, the Dozier design folding hunter, although it doesn't have the axis lock. But I just kind of felt like for what you're getting, it seemed like, you know, this kind of, if the knife wouldn't stand up to what I put it through, it kind of might not be a good value. But after doing all the tests that I did with it and using it for a month, I was really impressed with the knife. It performed very well in every task that I threw at it, and it just held up really well. It still opens and closes smoothly, you know, just as smooth as it did when it was brand new. Blade still center, lockup is good. It feels very good in hand. The grip is good. It does have some what you would call jimping on the top. It's not very aggressive. Your finger can still slide through it pretty easily. There's no grip on the bottom, but it does feel really good in hand. There's no hot spots. Really comfortable to cut, and it's extremely thin profile in your pocket. So it's just a really comfortable knife to carry. You could throw it in your pack or EDC it. You know, it could be an extra knife in a kit, or you can just carry it every day and probably be really happy with it. Edge retention has been good. You guys know S30V. You know, the truth is, on most steels, you're just gonna dull them all. If you use the knife enough or a lot, it's just gonna dull, and you're gonna need to resharpen it. And the most important thing for me is just a blade that doesn't rust very easily, so you can rinse it off. With this one, with the open design and the pillars, no back spacer, you can easily just rinse it off if you're, you know, using it for fishing or something outdoors, food prep, and get it to dry off, and you're going to be good to go, most likely. So that's the most important thing to me, and then also just being able to resharpen it, since oftentimes you're going to just dull the knife by using it, regardless of what kind of steel it is. So lanyard hole is very big. You can see you could easily fit paracord through there. You could probably fit double paracord through there. It's a really big lanyard hole. And as I said, the pocket clip, really nice deep carry clip design. You can put it in your pants and it goes all the way to the top. There's enough room in between the screws holding down the pocket clip that your pants will go over the top of that and all the way up to the top of this clip. It's a shorter deep carry pocket clip. Benchmade, they also have these longer ones. I forget which knife this one's off of, but you can kind of see the difference of how long some of those other deep carry clips are. Not sure what to say about that. I mean, I like them both, although the shorter one, let me see if I can see on here, there's more room in the shorter one to actually carry even deeper, because the depth of this portion right here is a little bit wider on the shorter deep carry clip. So on your pant leg, not leg, but your pants pocket, when you stick this in your pants pocket, the pocket material will go up higher on the shorter clip that's on the bug out. But anyways, I like the deep carry clip. I like carrying my knives as deep as I can in the pocket. So anyways, that's kind of my take on the Benchmade Bugout. Blah, 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 blah. Haven't made a video in so long I can't even talk. But the Benchmade Bugout 535, I think it's a good buy. I would really like seeing this knife in different colors. I think if Benchmade could come out with some other colors, that would be great. I know right now it's kind of hard to get a hold of this knife because they're selling out quickly. But if we could see this knife in multiple colors down the road, I think that would be really cool. Obviously, price is a little high. It'd be nice to see it lower, but as with most Benchmades, that's kind of what you get. But I do think it's a quality knife. It's extremely fun to play around with and enjoy carrying it. And I think it is a good value. Even though it's a really lightweight knife, I think that it's very, very capable for what you would use it for. So that's my video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. I'd appreciate it if you'd like the video, and hope to see you on the next one. Take care.